peninsula that is the state of Florida. And you have to remember, it was a hurricane when it made landfall on the west coast of Florida. It was still a hurricane when it went off on the east coast of Florida. And the damage is widespread. It started before the hurricane even landed, with tornadoes popping up everywhere. And then the hurricane making landfall, the wind, the rain, the water that came. 3.2 million households do not have power right now in the state of Florida, and they are just now beginning to assess the damage. Victor Oquendo is in Sarasota, Florida, very close to where that hurricane made landfall. Victor?
Eva, we are right at the entrance to Siesta Key. Hurricane Milton making landfall just on the other side of that bridge there. And right now, the sheriff's office here in Sarasota County, they're blocking any cars from entering. But what is happening, if you look over here to my right, you'll see residents, people eager to go check on their homes, and they're able to walk across that bridge. Now, at this point, we have been out here all morning long, and we've heard the same thing from every single resident who's crossed back over. They've told us they feel lucky. It's not as bad as Helene. I had one person tell me it looks like it's in great shape, all things considered. So that is definitely some good news there. But we have not been able to cross that bridge ourselves just yet. We have checked in with the county. They have told us that they're doing their initial damage assessment. They have a tactical team doing that. But Eva, all things considered, especially with that storm surge that was projected, that could have been twice that of Helene. From what we're hearing from residents, it sounds like Siesta Key, despite that being where Milton made landfall, seems like it's in good shape. Eva?
That is really reassuring news this afternoon, Victor. Let's check in now with Ginger Z in Fort Myers, Florida, with where Milton is headed next. Ginger?
Yeah, so Milton, the center of it, is out in the Atlantic. So, Eva, we're standing here in Fort Myers. We had 5 to 6 feet of surge. We were grateful that it came in at low tide. You see the picture there. That's video from our hotel where the ocean is crashing over into the pool deck and into the pool. It filled that bottom level. And there was actually a shed at one point that got up to about doorknob level. So we definitely got a significant amount of surge, but we were so lucky that it happened at low tide. And a couple of things came together here. The Siesta Key, because they took the front eye wall, I'd like to see video and pictures out of Venice, Florida, because you see where just south of there, that's that dirty side, the right front quadrant, where they'd have the most onshore flow with the most of those winds. Now, it was quite lopsided too, because the biggest winds happened on the north side. Sarasota, 102. 18.5 inches of rain in St. Pete. That verified on the forecast really well for the flash flooding. 101 mile per hour gusts there. Tampa had a 97. And even Daytona Beach earlier this morning had an 87 mile per hour gust. I was explaining that onshore flow, which was what happened for us here, and also Charlotte Harbor, and then the offshore flow, which gives you anti-surge. It actually can pull water out of the bays around Tampa and push it out to the ocean. Now that center is way off, and we're going to just see for the rest of the afternoon the numbers come down. It'll be breezy at best by the time you go to sleep. That'll be relief, because a lot of people didn't sleep well last night. And I know everybody wants to say, okay, we got to be done for the season, right? Well, we're not quite done. We have 6 weeks left in hurricane season, and in October, the Gulf, especially Florida, can still be quite active. So we will be vigilant and watching. And I have to say, Eva, everybody keeps saying not as bad. They prepared so well. They evacuated so many people. This was one of the best evacuations and preparations I've ever seen, and I hope that that helped us to keep people safe.
Yeah, definitely, Ginger. That is something that we saw here in Orlando. All of the hotels around us completely full. People who evacuated that west coast of Florida to get out of harm's way. DeMarco, the assessment of this damage is just beginning, and it covers the state. So we'll have to see just what this recovery effort looks like on the other side.
Yeah, DeMarco goes on. All right, Eva, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we'll check back in with you in just a moment. Dr. Darren with us now. You have friends there in that area who are doctors. So what are they telling you?
So I'm communicating with emergency physicians, most notably Dr. Megan Martin. She's in St. Petersburg, and that's right in front of Tampa. Now, that suffered significant wind damage. Thankfully, they just missed the eye, but she recounted on her experience. She's lived through the hurricane before Hurricane Helene. Her community's still recovering from that. And she talked about how many of the injuries come from the debris that we see, the debris on the ground, the debris in the water. Right now, the main problem in their hospital is that they've lost water. And unfortunately, water obviously is needed. That has caused many hospitals to need to evacuate. And also the Tropicana Stadium, the roof was pulled up. And why is that significant? Because that's where many first responders were. Thankfully, the majority of them were able to get out safely. But right now is the wait and see. many of those what we call walking wounded, those who have been injured by the shrapnel and the debris that has been in the streets. And the one word of caution, DeMarco, that she says is be cautious around flood water. It's not just water.
It's nothing to play with.
It's got debris in it. Also down electrical lines, increase the risk of electrocution.
All right, Doc, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Still ahead on GMA3 on this Thursday, part of the roof was torn right off the home of the Tampa Bay Rays. That's what Dr. Darian just talked about. More than 3 million families are without power. We'll have more from Eva on the storm, and the mayor of Clearwater joins us. And